Sharing the red wagon. In the middle of the tickle-tickle meadow, Pip found something wonderful. It was a wagon. It was shiny. It was bright. It was the reddest red Pip had ever seen. "This is my wagon," Pip whispered, "and I am going to have the best time all by myself." Pip grabbed the handle and started to pull. He pulled the wagon over the bumpy roots. He pulled the wagon through the tall, whispering grass. But the wagon felt a little bit heavy, and the meadow felt a little bit quiet. Pip sighed a small, lonely sigh. Suddenly, Clover hopped out from behind a large mushroom. "Oh, what a grand wagon," she cried, her long ears twitching with joy. "May I please have a ride, Pip? I want to see how fast the wheels spin." Pip held the handle tighter. "No," he said softly. "It is my wagon." Pip came to the bottom of Rolling Roly Hill. He pulled and he puffed. He tugged and he tuffed. But the hill was very steep, and the red wagon did not want to go up. It stayed right where it was, stubborn and still. Pip was starting to feel very tired. "I can help," Clover said, hopping over to the back of the wagon. Pip looked at the long hill, and then at Clover. "Okay," he said. Pip pulled from the front, and Clover pushed from the back. Together, they made the wagon go clack, clack, clack all the way to the top. At the top of the hill, they saw Humphrey. Humphrey was a very large friend with a very large problem. He was standing by a big oak tree, looking at a giant mountain of pine cones. Clover waved her paw. "Hello, Humphrey. What are you doing with all those prickly things?" "I need to move these pine cones to my cozy den for the winter," Humphrey grumbled. He tried to pick up a big armful, but plip, plop, plip, they all tumbled out of his fuzzy arms and onto the grass. Humphrey looked very sad indeed. Pip looked at his shiny red wagon. Then he looked at Humphrey's sad face. "We have a wagon, Humphrey," Pip called out. He pulled the wagon over to the oak tree. "It is a very good wagon for carrying things. We can share it with you." Humphrey's eyes grew bright and round. They loaded the wagon until it was overflowing with pine cones. Pip and Clover hopped on top of the pile, and Humphrey grabbed the handle. With one big tug, the wagon zoomed across the meadow. Pip and Clover cheered as the wind whistled past their ears. Sharing the wagon was much better than playing alone. It made the hills easier to climb, and the chores easier to finish. Most of all, it turned a quiet afternoon into a grand adventure. Pip smiled at his friends. The wagon was still red and shiny, but now it was full of friendship.